I want to start with a big thank you to everybody who was helping me and encouraging me along the way. 6,000 plus subscribers. Wow, that is really make me keep going. It is at this stage over 90 videos per month that I'm trying to keep up with dailies, weeklies, monthlies, with your X series. So if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, like, and comment and share. That means a lot to me, and I really love you for it. Also, if you did not join my Facebook page, please do, because every entry, so every like, follow, share, comment is going to count as one entry toward a contest at the end of the May. I think June the 1st, I'm going to draw for 3 winners for May 20-minute readings. So join in and take your chance in this. Also, this is the last 2 weeks that you have your X readings at $45. These readings will go up as of 1st of June. So this is a really good time for you to basically take advantage of that. And also with me, once when you become my client, then you get a coupon, and that way you can take advantage of any of the deals that are not on special. Lastly, I really want to talk about my new channel, Sapphire Dreams. The channel is dedicated to healing, spirituality, and energy work. In this channel, I'm going to teach you various things such as meditations. You can check my cutting cord meditations. This is going to be really introduced because that's a really, really good remedy for soaking up negativity as well as deodorizing the place. So check it out and join that as well. So that's it. Without further ado, let's jump into your bi-weeklies from May 15th to May 31st. Love you. Hi Libra, welcome to your bi-weeklies. It is kind of like interesting what I laid down, so let's see how the story evolves. Let's go with what is on the bottom of the deck. One card is chemistry. There is a strong magnetic attraction here, so promising. And the other deck talks about 2 of Wands reversed. So somebody's making foolish choices, or somebody's giving up here, so it could be also maybe some kind of waste of time. We are going to figure out. So Libra, pay attention to the red flags, and the signs are cautioning you it's in your past, coupled with Queen of Swords reversed and 3 of Cups reversed and 9 of Pentacles reversed. This talks to me about a breakup over possible third person or non-cooperation, and also tells me that somebody didn't want to actually be single. Somebody really wanted to stay in this relationship even though there were red flags, and maybe that red flag was the third person. But in any case, it looks like there is still something from the past that is coming to the present, and it could be if you were single, if you're single right now, that maybe you don't want to be single and yet you are not fully whole in order to move forward. However, also what is in the root of the situation for the next 2 weeks would be children. Your love life is being affected by children, and then it's like 3 of Pentacles upright. This is like a main team building card. It's kind of like, let's get together and try to see what we can do. It's a manifesting card. Goal is something that is happening. It could be something connected to your children. It could be something connected to the project. It could be something with your work or with money. Certain things, however, could be delayed, and you may feel a bit lonely. You may feel like maybe there is a time for children to leave home, and maybe like they're moving on to the next stage. This is also a card of improvement. It's also a card of expertise, enrolling courses, and maybe you're waiting for something like that, and maybe the messages are a little bit delayed. Or maybe children are leaving home and you're feeling lonely. Altogether, it's kind of like really interesting because this is kind of range of emotions over here. So what is basically the start. Here, give your relationship a chance, work on your partnership, and this is like Six of Pentacles kind of crossover here. So Six of Pentacles is a card of balance. It's a card of give and take. It's kind of like showing the three, I don't know if you can see three kitties, and it's kind of like a question asking you, are you giving and taking in equal amounts? If somebody giving more, somebody giving less, right? So it could be also talking about the physical resources, but it also could be talking about the money. There are still some issues connected to the past. This card is saying that somebody doesn't want to let go, and maybe this is going back to give your relationship a chance. Maybe there is an effort making it work because it kind of, I guess, somebody feels financially makes sense. But at the same time, somebody really doesn't want to stay in. Judgment reverse talks about that maybe some injustice is going to be done to you, but that's also your card. This can also mean that you don't feel really fully comfortable with yourself, that you may feel a bit violated, and maybe this talks about that you don't feel like this is kind of that balance. Maybe you feel that you're giving too much, and like that to give your relationship a chance, you will really have to see that this is taking place in order to move forward. And yet you're feeling other ones, like, so this is a second storyline. It says worth waiting for. So some of you want to work on it even though you're not feeling you're getting rewards for it, and it says here divine timing is at work in your love life, but you're wondering for how long do you need to work. The kind of passion has left the building. You feel that sometimes there are secrets in your relationship, or that you don't know how to deal with approaching other people, and how to kind of like deal with issues that are coming up. And kind of like being the air sign, you are kind of really good communicator. You're trying to really please others, but at the same time you're always trying to make decisions fair. This is kind of like really important to you. But the moon talks about being very changeable and uncertain, and also talks about deception and something that's kind of the truths that will come out, right? It is kind of really difficult to know what is real, but this is also karmic card saying that, you know, you will be able to kind of change things if, you know, so desired. So it's going to be a lot of attention paid to balance, and this is really your element. Some of you decided to move on. Some of you single ones are definitely kind of trying to find somebody else, or the ones who basically have relationship are moving on. It says stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. And Six of Swords, this is kind of like not moving on because you have to move on, even though I see that some of you really want to hold on, maybe because of financial reasons, maybe because of feeling of, you know, that you're going to get weaker, maybe just simply because you really don't want to be alone. But the others of you, and this kind of like talks about spiritual involvement, are deciding that enough is enough and you have to look for your own happiness, even though you still don't know what that happiness is, because Seven of Cups is talking about making a decision, and you can't, because it's like so many choices over here, right? And yeah, there's like still that flavor, kind of like it's very difficult for you. You're moving on, you're still not there, because the, you know, the other side is still inside, but you're really not there, and you're wondering what is probably next. But at the same time you still have this flavor, possibly of the third person, of possibly you know, what kind of like issues you're going to encounter. These are kind of like swords, and swords are like very brainy kind of thought process, and this is kind of like in the heart. So it's kind of, it's hesitation on two levels, both in head and heart, but at the same time you are moving on. That's really good. So right in front of you Yeah, and I think this is the fear, codependency. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. And then you have Queen of Wands. Because some of you don't want to be single, and some of you really want to feel comfort within the relationship and save relationship at any cost. And I think some of you are really trying to present yourself as super attractive, and we know you're Libra, you're really good at it. So Queen of Wands is like sexy, go-getter, everything to everybody. And you know this is not a stable situation. You cannot be that way. And it's definitely, you're not the fire sign. This is not your flavor. Your flavor is diplomacy. Your flavor is art. Your flavor is, you know, exchange of ideas. Flavor here is doing. Put your hands on something and go for it, right? So I don't know. Maybe it would be kind of a lawyer would be here, but codependency talks about, okay, you are attracted to something that is really not good for you, and this is kind of affecting your life because you just become happy when you're truly in your element. So right, you can put a bunny costume, but you're not going to be a bunny. You're just going to be a Libra in a bunny costume. So this is kind of warning you about, yeah, you see, that path is not going to bring you emotional fulfillment. And yeah, and this is again, for some of you, this could be a breakup. And some of you is going to be realization that you haven't been in a healthy relationship, and hence it was not fulfilling for you. That goes back to that give and take. Maybe you were the one who were giving and giving and giving, and trying to mold yourself or wrap yourself around someone who maybe didn't come back with reciprocating. This also talks about understanding yourself, understanding who you really are, understanding what makes you happy. And this is really in front of you, and kind of like you'll be dealing with this on two different levels again, through passion and through basically heart. It's kind of really good to recognize the patterns, and while we sometimes do things for the other people, it's kind of like a quid pro quo. It's at the same time, you have to figure out that enough issues and enough items happen as well that to kind of take care of yourself. Otherwise, sooner or later, it's going to kind of like become different. So how do you really feel about yourself? There is wedding. The situation involves marriage, and it's like Knave of Swords over here. Again, it's kind of communication, possibly harsh communication, walking a tightrope, and feeling left out in a cold. For those of you that talks about your own marriage, it talks about that there will be definitely exchange of words, and it's going to be exploration of possibilities. Some of you might even think that maybe you should just jump into one decision blindly. Others will hesitate. The third kind of Libras might feel that this is not your kind of communication, and ultimately the situation can leave you kind of like wanting and longing. This is not the situation, and this can also affect your finances as well. So it goes back to the cards that we had, that kind of like maybe you're trying to stick to the arrangement because the arrangement works on some level or financial level. This could be division of finances, and this can also be kind of talking about how to go in the future. For the other Libras that are single and that are trying to go to the future, the wedding is on your mind as usual, and you're really wondering how to go about it. So this is kind of like good for those of you Libras, but you still also torn between the two choices. One choice is like to be who you are, and one other choice is like being doing the same things you were doing all over again. But how did that work out, Libra? And also you are really worried about moving forward in that way, and to be kind of let down in your environment. Again, like all over you is romance, engagement. Your love life is ascending to higher level of commitment, and there is like this impatience. This can actually also be your children. High Priestess reversed, and this is Seven of Pentacles reversed, and then you have 8 Strength reversed. So this is kind of interesting, 2 major account with engagement, but this is falling in the category of the others. You might feel taken back with somebody's engagement. You may feel that you want to really get busy with certain things, for whatever reason. You may be involved with projects with your children, but somehow you're going to lack strength and energy to really do all of that. It might feel like that you really want to give up on certain things, or you'll feel that expectations from the others in these 2 weeks could be a little bit too much for you to handle, and that you have to deal with your own issues. In any case, you're going to try to find a ground how to go deeper inside of yourself and figure out which direction to go into. So mostly I would say, because this is in your area of fears and hopes, calling in your soulmate, it says your prayers, affirmations, visualizations help bring you together. And then you have Knight of Wands and Knight of Swords and Seven of Wands. Well, it looks like that you're going to start to fly, because look, these knights are always here looking for somebody who can actually take them somewhere. One is like with passion, another one is with words. It looks like to me that you are mostly coming to your own, that in this period you're going to go through huge transformation from really trying to figure out if you want to save the situation you're in or you want to move on. For the single people, you also want to kind of like go into this soulmate situation, but you also don't want to repeat the situation from the past. So this is telling me that, like, 2 nights, it's kind of like a movement toward better communication. And meaning better communication, not that you don't communicate well, you do, but you don't put yourself first, or you don't put yourself in proper balance. And that's why your Libras, even though you have like this kind of scales that are always in balance, actually, you know, in reality you're always off. And this is kind of striving to have the balance between your passions and between how you go and pursue somebody and with what basically you really need. You may be a little bit defensive regarding certain things. You may feel that you are making other people defensive, but it's all good. You have to find your firm ground. So the outcome altogether, if you're dating, if you're going with somebody else, or if you're starting all over, it says express your love, go ahead and make the romantic gesture. And then it's like the Fool card and 10 of Wands card and the Emperor. Well, a few things. If they're your own family and children, of course, express your love kind of would be really good. If you're moving on, this is a really good card, because it indicates that you'll be able to shed all this debris from the previous relationship, even though, you know, you will still think that they will be carried with you, or like, I mean, that you took too much for yourself. But it's just like just a simple turbulence, and it's not going to take much longer, because you're actually going to achieve the stability, and you will achieve ability to kind of feel solid on your ground and kind of like charge ahead. This is kind of like that passion that over here you wanted to call your soulmate. Some of you may be meeting somebody in this period, and most likely it's going to be a fire sign over here, which is kind of overwhelming flavor. So Libras, going from solitude to trying to comprehend who you are to basically moving on to stability in 2 weeks. Congratulations, that's a big path. So thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, share, dislike if you dislike, and join my Facebook. And for private readings, please contact me via my website. Thank you so much, Libra. Have a good 2 weeks. Love you. Hi, Leo. Welcome to your bi-weeklies. So let's see, what do you have in the cards in these 2 weeks? The bottom of this deck is 6 of Wands reversed. So some of you don't think that you got enough adoration and admiration, possibly. Some of you feel that maybe there is kind of a feeling that you didn't win in something, and the others might feel kind of like that maybe it was a project that slipped through your fingers. And the other deck says stay optimistic about your love life, and positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. Lovely. So let's see what basically is happening here. In the past, over here, you have finances and career, and financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. And again, financial issues and feeling being left out in the cold, maybe putting the ends together. This doesn't mean like you are poor at all. It could mean that you're trying to be better. This is basically calling into you, kind of trying to figure out your resources, maybe work the budget, and maybe you took certain things for granted. Maybe, and it's referring to the finances and career. Like, I mean, maybe it's time for a fresh... My apologies, but I'm actually experiencing technical problems, and I do have to say that maybe it's going to take me a few takes to do that. I dealt with that and getting the completely new camera, which is still under warranty, but I really hope that I can release this in peace, but it is kind of like painful. So anyway, what I was saying here about the finances and career, that you kind of like feel that maybe you have to attend to certain matters. Just be careful, and this could mean that maybe you were overspending. This could mean that, like, devil generally to me talks about being attracted to imbalance, being attracted to gambling, overspending, you know, getting this Burberry purse for $4,000 that really you don't dare to even take anywhere with you. But it's also talking about making a choice, taking an action, or deciding to stay in a situation that is contrary to your best interest. So be very careful about that, and this is maybe something that you have already experienced and dealt with it, because in the root basically of your reading for these 2 weeks, you have chemistry and you have the Magician. So certain things are turning around in your basically Taroscope. It says there is a strong magnetic attraction here, and the Magician talks about uplifting, kind of like figuring out, okay, well, wait a minute, I'm a leader. I can actually move forward. I have the tools for it. And this talks about, okay, you know what? It talks about push and pull regarding your finances. Like maybe you're holding on to your finances for such a long time, then released and overspend. And this is talking about mastery over this as well. And Queen of Wands, this is you, and this is kind of like coming and blossoming, like as you can tell. Look at this card is full of these beautiful sunflowers. This talks about really looking at the sun, like waking up, getting out of depression, sort of like stepping in. Queen of Wands is a go-getter. She gets her things done. She is charismatic. Everybody wants to look up to her. Like, I mean, it's the person literally who would be celebrity. It's the person who everybody kind of wants to follow. Somebody who cares and helps others. And this is kind of in the domain of inspiration and passion. So you are kind of like revisiting yourself, and this is the chemistry. I think this is like you finding your own resources to manifest things and to be cautious with how you go about it. So this is kind of talking about a proper planning. Now, the start of this is flirt and Six of Cups. There is somebody from your past, Leo. Extend your light-hearted energy to others. And Six of Chalices or Six of Cups talks about the memories. It is somebody who we already know. It is maybe something from the past that we already experienced that is actually reminding us of the people that we flirt with. Maybe it is something from the past that is coming to the surface. Maybe there is something that we currently are not nourished, but we have been nourished in the past and we are looking back to it. Maybe this is really a children card and kind of figuring out how to be a better mother. Or maybe this is also going in a new direction. Kind of flirt can actually talk about just simply releasing the past, because this kind of talk about the past, and this is some kind of lack of nourishment. And King of Chalices is basically it can represent a water sign, but it can also represent a manipulator. It can represent somebody who tells you everything you want to hear. But you know what, you're kind of leaving this behind you. You are kind of, you dealt with this, because look where you're going. You're going to let go of control issues and allow the situation to unfold naturally. So you're going from this Queen of Wands to Queen of Pentacles, and Queen of Pentacles is the one who commands the attention. The Queen of Pentacles is the one who packs the lunches, who takes care of everybody, who cares and helps others understand the physical world, resources and finances. So it looks like you got a hold of your kind of devils over here. This is also the card of a wife, and like, I mean, maybe striving to get there. Yeah, control issues. And look, Knave of Swords, this is some kind of spying and some kind of anxiety. Looks like, again, being a Leo, you are probably a little territorial. Like, we are all territorial, but you're a little bit more territorial than anybody else. So this is all talking about trying to find your center, trying to find who you are without resorting to kind of control the issue, because, you know, ultimately you have to be who you are. And you should be this Queen of Wands, not so much Queen of Pentacles. You cannot be everything to everybody. You don't even have to try. And this is basically telling you, look, you have to let go of the issues that didn't work in order to create a better you, because the quality of you can modify, but you still have to be who you are. And you are driven with passion, Leo, and the passion really, really helps you. So altogether, I think that you'll be maybe facing your own anxieties, facing why you're feeling them, and look to your fear right in your eyes. And it's kind of really interesting what happens when you go, okay, I really fear this. I would really hate this, would embarrass me. I cannot make this happen. And then you look at it and say, well, wait a minute, what would happen if it happens? And you might feel this kind of like knot in the stomach that you're letting it go. But guess what? If the person comes back to you after you release it, then you know what? This is the real thing. And I think you're getting there. And that's why kind of like this entire lighter energy will be around you. And that light energy is very appealing, because imagine that you're coming to an attic that is closed, windows are closed, it's all dust, and you're coughing. And kind of maybe it's interesting, but it's still old. Or if all of a sudden you open the window and there's this fresh air. So that's the feeling that you're actually moving from one to another. What is crowning you is give your relationship a chance, work on your partnership, and wash a new injection. But there is obviously either that you still feel, or it could be that you feel certain about your relationship. But again, it's telling you, come on, calling you to be yourself. Now you have a Queen of Wands and have a King of Wands. This is talking about you being a couple, actually, but it's also talking that there are still some issues, either the third party, but you are winning in this issue. You are winning because, like, I mean, both cards are upright, but this is kind of like certain things that are still in your way. And I think these are the controlling issues, that this is some kind of fears that you really have to look in the eyes and see what it is. And I'm wondering if this is connecting to this Devil card. You know, sometimes we get some things in our heads. Each of us has a different thing. We have our own crosses to bear. And then when you get it in our head, and it's literally the most important thing, all of a sudden, to somebody else it would not mean a thing, and to us means the world. So you have to kind of position this and see if this kind of is maybe your case as well. What is right in front of you? True love. This is the romance of a lifetime, but it's also Knight of Swords reverse. So that romance of a lifetime, it's kind of like in a really interesting stage, because there may be some kind of harsh words. It might at times feel it's not going anywhere, but this is saying you're cutting through all this kind of crap. And Queen of Swords, lie down her sword over here. She is somebody who is not mincing words. She's somebody who is not wasting time, and somebody who cares and really helps with others and helps them with exploring. The key over here is to remember that communication needs to improve. So how do you feel? You feel that you're willing to trust. The situation is calling for you to have faith. And then you have the Fool card. And Fool is basically element of air, which means it's a really compatible element to you, and it's igniting you. And if you were lacking trust, this kind of like means that you are able to shed this discomfort, rejection, or feeling of not being adequate, and you're willing to try completely different things and go about it the right way. And you see, like, it's a kitty trying to get to this kind of cushion place, and it's doing this by actually completely trying new things. See, the kitty is trying to see What is on the ships? Are ships coming back home? Basically what this means is, what is the new direction I'm taking and how do I take it? It's kind of like figuring out where to go. It's still, either of those are not moving parts. Both of them are very much thoughts, and you're still dealing with certain issues with some past events. The death reversed means that certain things still didn't transform. They are still in the process of transforming, and that they really should transform. And what didn't transform is something that is creating you discomfort. And it's probably connecting to those Three of Swords. Because, and this is your environment. It's attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying the moment fully. And then you have Seven of Swords, which talks about, right, you feel that maybe people are not completely honest to you. You're wondering about the true motivations. You're wondering if you're going to be kind of left out. And Knight of Pentacles reversed talks about wondering if somebody or something is worth your investment. But nonetheless, you're proceeding, because you're going from 7 to 8. You're proceeding extremely cautiously, or you're getting advice in your environment to proceed really cautiously. So I guess you're going back to this trust, because this card is freezing many people cold when you kind of like really get this feeling of, oh my gosh, something has been taken away from me, and kind of like feeling maybe this is not worth it for me. But at the same time, Eight of Swords, which is the next one from 7, and it's reversed, so it's not in full, right? So here would mean like somebody took something away from you and you hid away, and now you're contemplating how to go about it. But here it's almost like 1.5, because it's a little bit better than in the upright position. Here feeling of being stuck, of again the communication issue. And communication issue is about something really being grounded. Like, I mean, King of Pentacles is again somebody very practical, somebody who is, you know, well, reversed, it could be somebody who is really not using the authority properly. It is connected to professional and physical world, resources and finances, so real estate. And it could be kind of like any financial dealings that you have with, or if you're in a marriage, maybe you would feel that maybe there is like resources are being overspent, that somebody just like taking this away from you. But at the same time, this being reversed means, you know what, you're realizing and figuring out how to move forward with this. And you might even get other people to help you with this. Hopes and fears. Well, you fear unrequited love. You fear that you're not being told the truth. But you hope, and this is like Ace of Swords reversed, you hope Knave of Chalices, and you hope Judgment. Knave of Chalices is a lovely card. It's like really innocent love. It's kind of really writing poetry to each other and really having that nice butterfly stage. So, and Judgment talks about kind of like bringing things from the past to the surface and clearing them out and see what happens. And it's again letting go of control issues, and let's see why it is. Let's deal with this. So, right, hopes and fears are really tells me that some of you may be in a relationship that you're trying to reach a decision on what to do with this. Others could be dealing with maybe some hurt from the past and are now getting ready to maybe cut issues apart inside of you and start moving on and finally feeling ownership by actually closing this chapter for good. So basically what is it saying here? Release your ex and not. So anybody you dealt with that you feel it's just like not a preoccupation. This is not recording again. Let's hope if I will be able to finish, because this is again acting up. It says release your ex and Nine of Pentacles reversed. Nine of Cups reversed. It talks about selfish preoccupation with your own needs, but at the same time release your own ex. So it's talking about the balance. Look, you have to let go of things. The time has come to clearer energy. It's not necessarily the ex-boyfriend. It is like ex anything that bothers you, ex anything that you didn't like it. Face your fear again. And it's talking about not going to extreme, like pendulum swings both ways, so not go from one extreme to another, not go from, okay, now I will never do this and I will never kind of do that, because that talks about this imbalance. And it could be internal process, internally going in and trying to remove any fire while you are making this decision, because you got here the Hangman and you got here Knave of Wands. This is talking about sort of not charging ahead, and this is also talking about looking at things from a different perspective. So this is really, really good, kind of cleansing all these old things and charging ahead with a completely new, lighter energy. I think, Leo, you're coming to your own. You are really able to sift through. You'll have 2 productive weeks. So